Going live. Hey, hey, hey.
Did it go live?
I don't know.
There's an 11-second delay. Remember that.
There is. Well, it's saying live on my end. So, hey,
We're
welcome
live.
to Squatch Talks podcast live stream. Good evening.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Better and better, hopefully. Well, this is new for us. So hey, we're going to see if this works.
I'm texting with somebody right now, see if she wants to come on.
Cool. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a few people. We got a possibility of some special guests showing up, and I just got a notification that we're live streaming on YouTube, so all is good.
Yep, I'm watching it here. It looks. Don't forget that you want to coughing all night.
Nope.
You need your carbonated beverage.
Heel on.
You need your carbonated beverage.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Black Rifle, vanilla. I couldn't decide between the mocha or the vanilla. But yeah, hey, welcome. I see Greg's here and Patty, and we got Brian. Hello. This is
Brian
exciting.
who? Which Brian?
Merrick.
Ah, hi there.
Our dogman enthusiast. And I'm sorry to say we did not get to do the investigation due to illness among the crew.
Yeah.
However, we are rescheduling, so stay tuned. And we still have that other dogman witness, Stan, who's going to be coming on. I'm keeping in touch with his son. So, hey, things sometimes take a little planning and a little bit of organizational skills, which
we don't have.
I'm calendar challenged, so but hey, this is fun.
Yeah, I can't even schedule getting out of bed right. So
that's a tough part.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I was glad to come down today and drop off some shirts and say hi.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. It was quite the morning.
Yeah, I bet.
So unfortunately, that color shirt is no longer part of the
repertoire
available product line. But the maroon shirt with the gray writing is now taking its place because we can't get green shirts.
For at least the time being. There's supply chain issues, as most of you know. I'm gonna use that excuse. We're sticking with it. But
that's right.
We're also going to be changing the blue one here with Squatchaholic, probably to black in the future, which I personally like anyhow. So that's what mine is.
Yeah,
I have the black one. So everything's good. I got the mugs, coming together, and not even a year into this process.
I know. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use some of the money. Wolf.
I think January 4th is our actual. Excuse me, I'm having a frog in my throat this evening.
Too much heel on. Oh.
That's better. Yes. Where was I? Well, I have
had a frog in your throat.
A frog in my throat, ribbit. But
man, I can't even spell them.
Hi, Angelina.
Yeah,
camo would be awesome.
Camo's coming with orange. I'm thinking camo with blaze orange writing. What do you think?
Love it.
Okay,
I'll take two medium.
I want to do long sleeves since I'm cold all the time now, which is new. I like long sleeves, so I was thinking about doing that.
Must be those female hormones you're taking.
I know. I should stop.
Well, it's always good to get in touch with your feminine side. And hello everybody. Thanks for joining in. We're just kind of getting warmed up while people are coming on board, and then we're gonna send out some invites if anybody is interested in joining the parlay. I'm sure there's somebody out there with a story. I know I already mentioned it to somebody in the chat room, so let me go ahead and start by inviting her.
Yeah,
if I can figure it out. This is too funny. Hey, this will work, I'm sure. just remember, there's a couple of, let's first off start with the order of business, okay?
Oh yeah.
We're hoping that we can get some people that are going to want to share their story with us, or at least ask questions, okay? And we're happy to take them. You need to first off email us. Where, Nathan?
Squatch Talks Podcast at gmail.com.
And then I will send you the invite to join in on the Zoom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, there'll be, a point where I have guests in the waiting room. So we'll admit you as we finish up with the previous guest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, at that point, when you enter the Zoom meeting, you want to make sure you mute your YouTube feed. Otherwise, it's very confusing. There's a delay. Nathan experienced that firsthand when we did this with Dixie.
Yeah.
I guess about a year ago, actually. It was in December.
Yeah,
I think.
it was it? It was after we start. I thought it was before we started, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm calendar challenged, remember? But yeah. So I'm hoping that we're going to have some people that are willing to, get over their stage fright and come on with us.
and you mentioned her there. She was the one I talked. I was on her podcast. If she wants to come on and plug her podcast too,
love to have you.
Yeah.
She's actually publishing one right now, though, she's saying. So maybe if she's finished, she said she might be able to.
Oh, is that what she said?
That's
Publishing
what she's
YouTube
saying.
video.
Yes.
That's the one I'm on. Yeah.
So obviously she's a creator, and I can understand and appreciate the intricacies of putting together one of these things. Okay. That's why,
especially filming with me,
no doubt.
I make everything more difficult.
No. That was Brian's job. I love Brian.
He's at a party.
I'm kidding, Brian.
He's
at a party.
He's at a party. He can't come on tonight.
That's no excuse.
Bring the party.
Actually, I was gonna send them an invite. I have them automatically in here,
Mm-hmm.
But no, the funny thing is, I was saying that doing these live stream things are actually easier because there's no editing involved.
Right. Just have to make sure you don't say anything stupid.
Yeah. Get us booted off of YouTube.
Yeah.
But hey, we got some people entering and then watching with us. So hello. Hey, Heather. Thanks for squatching. How about we bring on our first interviewer? All right, interviewee, I should say.
Yeah.
And this is a friend of ours who's been on a number of our expeditions and has taken what she's learned back with her up to her neck of the woods in New York. And hey,
teaches us.
What can I say? Always suits up and shows up.
Yep.
And helps us out a lot. So I'd like to invite Patty to join us. So Patty is going to come on with us and share a little bit of what she's been having going on in just a moment. And I got to remember that there's an 11-second delay. So I don't know what to do with myself. Hey.
Hello, guys.
Turn your phone sideways.
I'm trying. It's not. There we go.
There it goes.
There you go. In uniform, even.
I'm sorry. I don't want to scare anybody.
No. Well,
we're all behaving, officer. We're all behaving, officer.
Hands up. Hands down. Hey, Patty. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, guys. You're welcome.
How are you?
Good. Doing real good.
Cool. Well, this is fun. It worked.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And how have you been? What's going on? Anything good?
Not much. I've been doing good. Getting out around the area and doing some investigating.
Good.
So
good.
Been a little cold. We had a snowstorm move through here, so I didn't get out much.
Mm.
How many feet did you get?
We only got like maybe 6 inches, but up north of me about a half hour, they got like 2 feet.
Mm.
And down where I investigate, they got around a foot or so.
Okay. I'm sure Tony misses all that snow.
No, he had to call me on the day of the snowstorm to tell me that it was 55 and sunny. So yeah,
just to rub it in.
Yeah.
I would expect nothing less.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that's awesome.
We mentioned, I think, Patty, in a couple of episodes ago when we were talking about the what was it, the Port Clinton, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Patty's been doing some research into that for us, and hopefully we're going to be able to put together something that we go up and investigate some paranormal activity up there. So that should be fun.
Mm-hmm. As soon as I can drive some more. That was terrible driving into you today. I'm telling you. You're trying to drive like this.
Oh, dude, I forgot, and I told you, I said to you when you got here, I was actually thinking, because Heather had an after work, holiday party.
Yeah.
I actually said to myself, you know what? I could probably drive up to Nathan today.
Mm-hmm.
And then here you come walking in my door. I was blown away. What a surprise.
Yeah, it was fun.
So Patty was also, you mentioned something the other day, I think, about something I forget going on up there. Did you have something recently with the oh gosh, I can't remember. Was it some vocalizations or some kind of find tree manipulations or something? I forget.
We did find a tree structure up in the area that I'm at.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I was also informed that Boy Scouts make the same type of structures when they're out doing their overnights. So
they do.
Yeah. So if you are in an area where Boy Scouts camp, you're going to come across them.
Mm-hmm.
But one way to kind of determine whether it's that or possibly a Squatch would be how the branches and other limbs and twigs are broken, if they're sawed, right?
Right.
Or if they're twisted.
Although a lot of them will use which is laying on the ground.
Which is broken.
Which is already broken. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so, hey, we were talking about this the other day, Nathan and I, right, with Scott, Scott Ward. And, Russ Jones, Dr. Jones had posted something on his West Virginia site talking about the validity and whether or not these things are, worth looking into or not. But I'm one who believes that there is some truth behind it. Not everything, of course, not every arch and X is Squatch related, but I found things that I feel couldn't be attributed to just a person,
Right.
So.
Yeah, I still kind of think they use them not as a place to hang out in, but traps. Right. To me, they look more like a trap.
A trap, yeah.
Although I did find a nest, if you want to call it a nest, but it was a very large, structure made out of branches and things in Missouri. And we came across that deep in the woods where there was not any Boy Scouts being, and there was actually a big track outside of it too. And like leaves were matted down on the ground and stuff. So I would have to say, again, that was a pretty legitimate find,
Definitely.
And great apes make nests out of boughs and twigs and things, right? So, but hey, Patty is coming on our New Jersey and Pennsylvania, I think, right? You committed to both to assist, so thank you. And I'm hoping Tony will be able to make it. You always are, no doubt. Just like tonight.
That's right. That's right. Somebody's got to keep us in line. And Terry's been doing it for far too long. It's your turn. Yeah. She's happy you're coming along to help too. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I can totally relate with that. I've said it before 100 times that, being an organizer is one thing. No. Being an organizer is one thing because we have the pressure of, making sure everybody has a good time and stays safe and hopefully has an encounter, right? But when you're an assistant organizer or investigator, then you can just kind of come and help out, but you don't have that pressure necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, that pressure, that's where it gets you, man. I'm telling you.
It can if you let it. But you know what? We have fun regardless,
Yeah.
Either way. And with Tony cooking and Nathan cooking and everybody pitching in, we usually pull it off. So I'm looking forward to it. Are you on a break, Patty? I don't want to keep you from any
No, I'm actually on a detail, so I'm gonna try to make
life-saving,
some room.
I don't want to get you in
Unless you hear
trouble.
gunshots going off behind me, then I might have to get up. No, I'm good.
You're cool. All right. Well, let's hope not. There's been too much of that going on lately, So
Yeah.
I think people's patience and tolerance kind of get a little tested around the holidays. So things
Yes, they
sometimes get
do.
a little more heated,
Yep.
But hey, it's always great to have people with certain skills, though, come along with us on these things, and having people like yourself, Patty and Tony, who are not only skilled in, Tony was ex-military, you're LEO, both hunters, you know what I mean? You've
Yep.
got a lot of outdoor experience, and that in itself is a wonderful quality.
Yep.
I know one of the people who signed up for the Pennsylvania expedition is a military survival specialist. So
Awesome.
I told her I'm looking forward to learning a few things from her.
Yeah.
So should be cool.
Trying
I'm watching the chat.
things.
I'm
Yeah.
watching the chat, Nathan. So I'm
Yeah.
watching the chat. And
It's too much going on.
If somebody, you got to just be watching the emails. That's the thing. So if we have anybody else who wishes to ask a question or whatever, you can also ask questions right in the live chat. You don't have to feel obligated to come on with us on camera. Okay. Or if somebody is a little shy and don't want to have, their face on camera, you can also use an avatar like our friend Matt Moneymaker did. Okay. And hey, if he's too bashful to come on with his face, then I have no problem with anybody else doing it. Okay.
That's right.
I forgot to ask Matt if he was available tonight, but I put it out to a few other names. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. But
Takes the bait.
the first and foremost, the most important one is already here. So thanks for coming on, Patty. That's
You're
always a
welcome. Hey, I
pleasure.
got a question for you guys.
That's
Go
what
ahead.
we're waiting for.
All right. So you're promoting your products. Where can the people buy the shirts, the mugs?
At squatchtalkspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. Send us an email and we'll
Or come to Medford. As you can see, I have some displayed at my shop here. Okay. But yeah, the best way to make sure we have what you need would be to contact Nathan or myself. Okay. And that's the easiest to do by just emailing us or asking in the chat. Okay. Right now we have some limited supplies because of the supply chain issues, but more on the way. So happy to take orders. And right now, the regular price that we've been offering these products for is $24.99. But for a holiday special, we've taken off 10% with code
You guys are the
STP10.
best.
Isn't that great?
Okay. Nathan's like, wait a minute, when did we decide that?
It's a great idea. I agree 100%.
Totally agree. And I'm drinking out of one of our original mugs, and we've got the new one behind us here.
Yeah,
I love this.
The new logo is great.
I love the new logo. Did a great job with it, Nathan. And he's got the Squatch on the back, leaving the footy prints.
Yep, it's all Tira. She's the only thing I don't like about his footy prints is they're wrong. I mean, really, if you look at the way he's walking, it's the wrong foot's lifted up.
I didn't even notice.
And it drives me crazy every time I see it. But you know what? It's the way it is,
Hey,
but
it's
drives
cool.
me nuts.
But how cool is that to be drinking and sipping your Black Rifle coffee out of?
Yeah.
But real soon, we're going to have our I'm Squatching brew variety available at Health Haven. Okay. And that's going to be a dark Sumatra blend with a hint of caramel.
Too much stuff going on.
Too much stuff going on. Hey,
it's terrible.
Not only do we have that, but we may have some exciting news. Actually, I gotta send an invitation, or we might not.
Yeah.
I'll hold that.
Hold that
Nathan,
thought.
take over.
What?
I'm gonna
hold on. We have a question here. Some tree structures might be made by Boy Scouts, but they are not making those huge 40-foot tall ones.
No.
Wait, no. Yeah, no, we're talking about the little ones, the ones you find close to the road and stuff. I think some of them are just tree fall. Some of them are human, but you have that rare one that's just unexplainable. No snow load, no nothing. Those little ones are, you get a tree that's ripped out of the ground, turned around and shoved back in, and the roots are up. That's not a Boy Scout. Definitely. Yeah. So how much more did you find out for us with Port Clinton? Anything else?
Pretty much what I told you.
Okay.
Still trying to dig deeper into it, but
good.
It's a small town, so
it is. Yeah. It's very little.
Very little.
But I think we're gonna go stay at the hotel there. We'll do some ghost hunting, and then we'll go out and see if we can't find a Bigfoot or two too, because they're just at the top of the hill.
My Eric said that he would prefer to go the Bigfooting and leave the Clinton hotel to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not getting a choice. We're gonna stay there too.
Yep. Oh, I told him that.
We're gonna see if we can get him in the bedrooms with us. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, awesome! Yeah. Hey, I've done it before out and videotaped. Had a camera going in our room.
Yeah.
Out in Cape Cod in one of the haunted hotels there. So we had like 6 hours of us snoring, hoping something would move in the room while we were sleeping, and yeah, it was. I didn't realize I moved so much when I sleep. It was crazy.
You really, while you were filming at one point, you should have just got up and got out of bed and just stood over him for a little while, like they're doing that. What the hell was that movie? That would have freaked him out.
Yeah, but Paranormal Activity, he'd never go. He would never go.
That would freak him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rude.
Yeah. And Tony was very jealous when I told him we were into this, because he's very big into the paranormal. So yeah.
Even after that night in New York, huh?
Yeah.
You guys went to Penhurst too.
We did go to Penhurst.
Yeah, tell us about that.
It was the end. We had more activity at the end of the night than we did throughout. Pretty quiet, not what I was expecting. I mean, you go on a tour type and you have one of the people with you, but I was hoping more for, by ourselves, letting us do it. So it was hard to, catch things when you got a group of 9 people all around.
Clamoring around and talking and stepping over everything.
But I had a video of the music room when things were just going off on their own. And
that's cool.
It was so unexpected. I stopped using my video camera and I whipped out the phone to, oh my God, this stuff is actually really happening.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Crystal just went to that too. She was one of the haunt actors there at Penhurst over the Halloween season. And then after everything was over and everything was cleaned up and all the props were down, if they took a toy back, an unwrapped toy, they went through and did a whole ghost hunt just with the haunt actors. And she said that was pretty incredible too. So she didn't tell me a whole lot about action. I'll tell you though, I don't think they recorded much going on, but
yeah, New York was scarier than Penhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
New York, that was pretty freaky.
It was freaky. Yeah. I'll tell you, for what I do, that was the scariest. What were we there? 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
That was the scariest moments of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun. I mean, we want to go back and do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to go back and do it again. Because when the 3 of us went down there, that was almost unbelievable, because the way it happened so closely to what Brian said. And it was
yeah, it was neat.
What are you giggling about?
I'm laughing at some of the comments. Anyway, I hope I did this right. I was going to say that I invited on Tyrell from Yeti Bars, one of
Yeah.
the Yeti brothers.
Nice.
So we've been in touch, of course, and talking about having our Squatch Talks podcast bar being produced. So I was hoping to, have an opportunity to have Tyrell come on and plug the Yeti Bars business. A couple of guys out in New Mexico making these handmade soaps, and they have now shirts and other things as well. So
cool.
Lotions and potions. And so I think I figured out the right way to send it to him, because he's going to be remote. He said he wasn't going to be in the office. So it's a 3-hour delay, So, hey, we'll see. They're not always so quick to get back with the responses, but
a 3-hour delay. That's not what you meant. Time difference.
Time difference. Thank you. But we've already seen how that works with the West Coast when we tried to get Matt on Dixie's program,
Yeah.
And I mentioned to Cam also that we would be doing this tonight, but I don't know if he's available this weekend. He's been busy with his platforms. So, hey, regardless, we're here, right? And we're making it work, as evidenced by having Patty's conversation working. So this is awesome. So who else in the audience has a question? Is there any questions out there? I'm looking.
Heather wants to know where in New York was scary. Was this in the campground? That was at Brian's expedition across for the, what did we call it?
The stump dump.
Stump dump. There it is. Yeah, the stump dump. That was scary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I call it the stump dump. Yeah. I think I'm the one who coined that name, as a matter of fact, because it looked like a stump dump.
Could be.
Hey, did anybody notice on the posts advertising this event?
No.
Did anybody notice the new word I came up with?
No.
Well, I said it's a live stream event with our Sasquibers.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that. I saw that.
Huh? Is that funny or what? Sasquibers?
You crack yourself up every
I
time.
do.
It's great. It really is.
I'm squatching, brew.
Too much. You are too much sometimes, I'm telling you.
Hey, good
Did
question,
anybody?
Mike.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mike. Mike and Kathy. They're drinking out of their Squatch Talks podcast mugs, I'm sure, at the moment. Sipping some tea. Actually, that's a great question. And
did anybody ever find a Bigfoot? A dead Bigfoot?
A dead Bigfoot? I haven't. But then again, you don't typically find dead predators out in the forest. Okay. However, back around 1967 in Northern California, there is a report that 2 young ladies who were out with a group of school students, okay, they actually did come across the remains of a Bigfoot. And it's on Todd Prescott's channel, the Sasquatch Archives.
Oh.
So you can go to Todd's channel and check out that episode. It was a few months ago, but there is a story about these 2 young ladies who found a remains of a Bigfoot, which I found very interesting. So it was in the mid to late 60s.
I did not know about that.
And who was I out with the other day? It was Art, as a matter of fact. And we were talking about some of these mounds we come across in the Pine Barrens. Nathan, you've seen them. I'm sure, Patty, you've seen them too.
Yep.
It's very flat in the Pine Barrens. So, when you see a mound, it kind of stands out.
Definitely.
And, you have to wonder what's under that mound,
Well, I know.
Mafia. I don't know. Bigfoot. Jersey Devil.
I went to when we were where the time happened. The first when we were down with my brother-in-law Brian, and we all stayed out wherever we were. We walked down to where we found the archway near where the time variant happened, and there was a mound in the back, like you're talking about, one of them big giant. It was maybe I don't know, probably 6-8 foot tall in the center. I walked right up and over it, looking around for footprints and whatnot, and carrying on. Brian wouldn't go over it. He said he didn't think we should be walking on it. Like he felt like really weird to walk on it.
You mean as in it was disrespectful? Disrespectful.
He didn't really say that. Just that he couldn't walk on it. I didn't feel anything. I just walked right.
So he felt something though. He felt a certain way
Mhm.
and cautioned against walking over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Heather and I came across a couple of those when we were day scouting once. I was up on this small hillside near where Art and a girlfriend of his back in the 80s had a encounter where it wasn't actually them who had it, but there was another two individuals in the back of a pickup truck who were awakened around 3 a.m. by an arm reaching into the bed of the pickup truck and grabbing one of the guys.
Wow.
They screamed bloody murder.
That was, yeah.
It's a great story. We'll have to have Art come on and tell this one. That's
Definitely.
one of his encounters. But yeah, so I mean, it's hard to say. And there's a part two to Mike's question about whether or not they hibernate, which we have already, I think, discussed in an earlier episode, where we don't feel they hibernate like bears do because there's activity throughout the year.
Right.
Although I did mention that the activity level declines and lessens due to the cold or even extreme heat,
Oh yeah.
But there's a question for
Yeah.
Patty. Patty, there's a question for you on the chat from Brian. She asks if Patty has ever been on any Bigfoot calls.
Bigfoot calls.
Meaning you get like a call into the station to come and investigate a possible Bigfoot.
Not into the station, but to me personally. And that's what led me to where I'm investigating.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
can't talk about it yet, right?
You know what? We've gone out. We did 2 overnights, and both overnights we had something walking around our tent, between our tent and our car. So, and I've got it on audio. We didn't get anything on the trail cams. So, but we got it on audio.
That's normal.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And if there was a call, they would. Everyone at the station knows that I'm into this. They would send it to me. So.
Well, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Hey, that's awesome. Angelina also had a question. What's the biggest discovery and how do you handle it? Nathan, I'm going to let you take this one.
Oh, geez. How do you handle it? I'm just learning how to handle stuff more professionally, working with the anthropologist and whatnot, collecting evidence a little more thoroughly than what we used to. But
and scientifically, right?
Scientifically, yeah. And Patty, I'm sure, knows how to do all that stuff a little better than what we do. That's
absolutely
why we try to learn from people like that. But I don't. What is the biggest discovery we've ever had besides footprints? I don't know.
Great question. I don't know. I mean, obviously, the biggest discovery, like in my own case, right? I would say if I hadn't slammed on my brakes 12 years ago, okay, I might have gotten some DNA evidence. All right. And the thing is, like, we're a no-kill society. We don't set out to harm these individuals, right? We just want to learn more about them and hopefully learn to live amongst them peacefully, right? But it's still, I kind of kick myself now thinking, well, if I kind of just clipped them, this would all be mute conversation, right? Yeah. We would have the DNA. Okay. And that's really the biggest discovery would be a dead body, obviously.
Yeah, but I don't think. Go ahead, Patty.
If you had a dead body, you trying to prove it, I mean, it would be tough because there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, that's not real. Even though it's right there in front of you, they're going to still say no.
No doubt. Well, that's our scientific community, I mean, but that's why I'm saying DNA is really the only thing I think that will once and for all conclusively determine,
I think we already have that, though. We already have it.
I was going to say, though, we have some, but there's nothing to compare it against.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there is. That's the problem. Greg sent us an email. He's ready to come on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to need to check my email then, because otherwise.
Yeah, I really think we already have the DNA. I think they already have the dead body. And I'm not trying to go all conspiracy theory. That's not what I'm getting at. I don't think they want to even talk about it. I don't think they want to acknowledge it, even just because they don't want to. I don't know why. They're afraid to admit they've ever been wrong. Because that's one problem about coming to a conclusion about something. You know, we often say, you know, we believe that they're real and whatnot. Coming to that conclusion because we believe they're flesh and blood, or we think the woo stuff's right. As soon as you come to that conclusion, your mind's closed and you can't think about anything else. And their minds, scientists' minds, have been closed forever. You know, the archaeologists won't admit to different things, and it's just too much rewriting of history that nobody wants to be that guy that says, nah, everybody that was saying that stuff before is wrong. Who wants to be that guy? I will be, but
and the thing is, you know, in going back to Angelina's question, you know, that to me, that's the greatest discovery. How do you handle it? That's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like, even if I had gotten some piece of DNA from that event, had it happened, then what do you do with it? Right. I mean, obviously we have some names that we can contact. I mean, that's where we need to hone in on our scientific skills and learn from other individuals like Patty and the anthropologist you're referring to know what to do with this evidence, or, you know, things we gather. So
right.
Yeah.
And
so hey,
we're learning.
You know, that's all part of this whole thing. I'm having a hard enough time just trying to figure out how to live stream on YouTube. So
we just haven't been doing enough investigating either. That's another problem. But
well,
that's a different problem altogether.
I did get out last week with Art, as I mentioned, day scouting, and I have a trail camera out there right now with the carcass from turkey dinner. Okay, so I'm going to head out tomorrow morning early with Jacob from the Jacob's Creature episode. Okay, he and I are going to go retrieve one of his game cameras, and it's not far from where I placed mine, so I'll probably go and retrieve mine as well.
There you go. So
who knows? We may have another thing to talk about next week. Okay, so I want to thank Patty, though, for always being a supporter of our quest, not only out in the field, but even on this virtual platform. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You've been awesome.
She never complains about us texting her at all hours of the day.
Nope.
Never. And so we want to wish you and Eric and Jordan and the rest of your family a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Okay.
That's for sure.
Yes. Yep. I'm
going to bring in our next guest. We have Mr. Greg in the green room. Okay. And he's agreed to participate with us. And I have a couple of other people I think lined up. So Patty, thanks again as always for suiting up and showing up. We love you.
You're the best.
Hi guys.
See ya.
Good night. All right. This is
fun.
Next up, we have another person who I've met on a number of occasions. Greg is in the house, and he's agreed to come on and share a little bit of what he's had experienced. Hey, hello,
Greg. He's still connecting he's connecting to audio, it says.
Oh, well, I got an 11-second delay, so
that's right.
I'm not sure where I'm watching. Just remember I said to mute the YouTube.
That's right. Oh, are there other questions? Yep, still no audio, Greg. We're having trouble with our audio.
Never mind. It's cool. Just hang in. What about the California Iceman?
Oh,
I think Brian corrected Greg and said the Minnesota Iceman, which is correct. That one I think was legit, actually.
You think?
I do. I don't think that was a hoax initially. I think it became a hoax. I mean,
Oh.
Greg knows actually more about this topic. So as soon as Greg's audio connects, we might hear some more on that topic. And yes, Brian, thank you to Patty. She's awesome.
Yeah. There.
All right. Just got to mute your YouTube feed.
It's muted.
There you go. Now we can hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, I guess that was the Minnesota Iceman, but I think the guy came out of California back in the late 60s. I've heard 2 or 3 different stories about that. I had a friend of mine, because I tried to go and see it when I was a kid, made a national tour and everything. And I couldn't go that day. I had a bad cold, but he went and, he swore the thing, really looked real to him. Now, he was a 10-year-old at the time, but I talked to the guys in his 50s like I am, and to this day, he swears it was real,
Yeah.
That's your body. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible.
But
It's
it was
possible.
it's a story that was, I think, initially from remember the rock apes, back in Vietnam, and there was a big
Yeah.
battle on a hill, and apparently, one of those battles, apparently somebody in the regiment or whatever was able to get the Iceman, I guess, airlifted out by a helicopter. I don't know. It's a crazy tale. So I really don't have an answer on that. But of course, it kind of dictated afterward with all the frauds that came, after that. Not too many years ago, the dead bodies and so forth that made the news, kind of tainted the whole thing. So I guess at this point, unless you have, one that you find dead in the woods somewhere, as opposed to being shot, obviously, the scientists are just going to kind of say, well, we don't have proof.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a shame. But we're still out there gathering what we can, and so like I was saying a moment ago, it's just a matter of kind of honing on our skills as far as how to go about it. So now you try to think ahead, to have like tweezers and have paper bags or whatever to
Envelopes,
bring
yeah.
home.
Well,
I bring gloves, you know what I mean? I bring surgical
Mhm.
gloves with me now too, so I'm not contaminating things.
Of course, Eric, it's been argued kind of like UFOs. There's probably enough between circumstantial evidence, witness testimony, and the samples that have been collected. A lot of courts of law have proven people, guilty of, heinous crimes on less evidence.
One a lot less evidence.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, grainier
doubt.
video and everything,
So,
Yeah.
But I do
what?
Eric, I brought this up to you before. Going in the winter time, you know how I feel about ticks in the summer.
Mhm.
Been infected twice by saying. And do you guys have anything planned between New Jersey or Pennsylvania in the wintertime, over the winter? I mean, before spring, before March or April?
Mhm.
Not officially, no, not officially. And obviously I told you this already, Greg. I'm not a cold weather camper. I'll go out hiking. So I mean, that's something that I'm always happy to go out with, newbies or people who've been on our expeditions, whatever the case is. But I don't camp in the winter, not until I get the pop-up ready to go. You know what I mean? So, but our first expedition is in June.
First.
That's Pine Barrens, June 8th. Okay, is the Pine Barrens expedition. And then we're doing the September PA expedition, end of September 28th. Hey,
Well,
at least I got the
blood spray.
You know what though?
Spray, maybe I'll consider one of those.
Pennsylvania's not bad with the bugs, I have to
Nah.
say.
Especially
It
not
really
that
isn't.
time of year.
Nah, it's really actually quite nice. Weather was great, and it's a good time to be out there, But
Mhm.
Jersey, being in June, in the beginning of June, it's actually not terrible either. I have to point that out. Plus, of course, in Jersey, I just use everything permethrin, and I'm usually good to go, And being somebody with Lyme disease, I already have it. So now, although I will say I had a customer in today who had a very unusual concern, a health concern, which was apparently caused by a tick. Started with an A. I forget the name. It's not very common. In fact, most doctors don't know about it. But so yeah, it was pretty interesting to hear about that. And and then I had another lady in today who was from the Pine Barrens, and her first time in. So I pointed out the display, and I said, "Hey, have you ever had any strange occurrences?" And she did mention a couple of times where her and her boyfriend were in the home and they heard some really strange sounds coming from outside, and she just went, "I'm not going out to look what it is," but that was it, nothing. But now here's another person who knows if something happens, they can contact me, like Greg,
Well,
So-
Eric, you can say, I don't want to take up too much more
No,
time.
tell us a story though. Don't you have a
Sure,
story
sure.
you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. Okay. What got me into, well, actually, I can tell you what got me into it, but I think what I'll do is I'll tell you what got me into seeing you guys and meeting you a few years back or whatever it was, maybe 4 or 5 years now even. There was a kid, I dealt with children in special needs, and I would drive by the health haven almost every day after I mentored him through the ARC program. Now, he was a kid with mild autism, and he lived over in Medford. And so without really being into the Bigfoot scene like I am more now, 5 years ago I was too involved with work, etc. One time I asked the boy whom I became quite friendly with, he was my student for like 2 years, driving him back to his group home, I said, "Well, don't they let you do anything in the backyard?" Because he was complaining about not having anything to do in the group home. They put these kids out in the woods, they don't want them in a city or urban environment, and so it's safer for them, usually 4, maybe 5 kids to a home. And he ended up telling me, he said, "No, sometimes they go out into the back and they'll have like a little barbecue, but it's houses against the woods, not far from where Health Haven is, maybe 2, 3 miles, something like that." And point is, he said that they were afraid of the noises that they heard in the back. And some of the staff members said, one guy in particular, he said, "I know animals, I used to hunt." He said, "That's not anything like I've heard before." And there's a waterway not too far away as well. And of course, they have a lot of deer and things that a Sasquatch would be interested in. And it just got me thinking. And I said to the student, I said, "Do you know what a Bigfoot is?" And I knew this kid pretty well, and I could tell when he either lied or basically just, was going off on a tangent about something, but he genuinely did not know what, a Bigfoot was. And so I kind of described it and he just laughed, but I got curious about it. So I looked up Bigfoot encounters in the area. And sure enough, the BFRO had something about a woman who some years before who had lived just about 1.5 miles up the road from him, who came into, I guess her carport or whatever it was, and with her daughter with her at night. And they were coming back from some school event. And in the carport, the headlights shone, and she saw this huge, 8-foot tall, hulking 7, 8 foot tall figure. And her daughter screamed, and she didn't know what to do. And the thing, I guess, took off after a few beeps of the horn. But she went down to make a report to the police. And the homes in that area, they're pretty decent homes. And what it said to me was that nobody who lives in a house like that, they're probably an educated person and a woman with her daughter is not going to make a phony report out of the blue like that.
Right.
And
Most likely.
Go ahead.
I said most likely you're correct. It's funny though, you're saying this report and I'm the investigator who followed up on that when it was 2017.
That's why, yeah, I said maybe 5 years ago it was. And that's why I noticed you were that investigator. And so I looked you up online and it was, Eric Spinner and this Health Haven. And I said, "Oh my God, I drive by that thing twice a day with this kid." And I thought, stopping in there. So at one point I did, and that's how I met you and I became friends. If you have a minute, I'll tell you my story that got me into Bigfoot as a kid. I know I've told you this a long time ago. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and in North Pittsburgh, there's an area called Indiana, Pennsylvania. And the whole Chestnut Ridge, that whole Appalachian Trail kind of runs up and down there. So in the summer times, my aunt had a farm out there, and that's hometown of one Jimmy Stewart, the actor.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he grew up all his life. He truly believed in a Bigfoot, and there's a lot of stories about him going over to get the hand of a Yeti kind of a thing, or the bones. Like
Mhm.
on the History Channel special, he tried to buy him or something. Or I was over there making a movie once many years ago. But the point is that a lot of tales of a Bigfoot, out in Indiana, PA, and all through the whole Chestnut Ridge. Now, I didn't know this when I was about 9, going on 10 years old, just going out to my aunt's farm, and my cousins would be there every summer, and we camped sometimes out in a big field, and maybe 200-300 yards up from the farm area. And she had a lake and a pond there as well that was stocked with fish, tons of deer, local farms there, and lots of chickens and deers everywhere. So, we would hear about chicken farms getting raided, but I used to think it was like natural predators, never thought it was Bigfoot. But I do recall a couple of times with one of the local girls out there, we became friends with the family, and she was about my age. And her older brother and my older brother, we would run through the woods sometimes by the lakes and streams. And sometimes we would think something was following us. And I guess it's the parallel aspect. And we would stop real quick and look, behind a tree, and like, is there something 20 yards over there? We used to think it was like Amish kids playing games with us, but we didn't know any better. We're 8, 9, 10 years old. So one day, my dog was playing a game of tag with us. He was a big Siberian Husky. And I'll never forget, he went over to like a bush where I thought maybe my brother was hiding. We would have him smell the scent and try to chase or find one of us. And all of a sudden, he stopped dead in his tracks. And he just started to cower and whimper, and with his tail between his legs, came back. And he laid in front of my feet and would not go over and look for my brother anywhere. And it seemed odd. I had no clue at that time what that was about, but I'd never seen him do anything like that before. And so another time, this is the time when I had my experience, we're in our tent. My older brother, who was a few years older, he was maybe 12 or going on 13, I'm 9. My other cousin was about 12, and my younger cousin, he was about 6. And I guess we were camped against a tree line, probably about 20, 30 feet behind the tent. And the tent had like an open mesh screen above it where, you could unzip it or whatever, there's a little gap between the ceiling of the tent. And I guess part of that where I was sleeping was unzippered. And I just remember about 20, 30 minutes before the sun came up, I heard a rustling in the tall grass, like 3-foot tall grass behind us in the tree line. And I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe some kind of an animal, perhaps a deer. And next thing I know, I see this shadow in front of the tent, and this big hairy arm just reaches in the top of the tent, and this giant hairy, hand is just starting to like grab to seeing what it could grab for. And I just said to myself, "Wow, that looks like something out of Planet of the Apes," And I said, "Wait, that's got to be the hand of a gorilla. What's a gorilla doing out of the zoo?" And I had no idea about Bigfoot back then. I guess I knew what Planet of the Apes was, but I wasn't a Bigfoot fan or anything. And next thing I know, I heard my baby cousin gasp. He saw it too. My other brother or my brother and his brother, the other two, they they were totally asleep. And this thing, after my cousin gasped, it just slowly pulled back its hand. And then I heard like rustling in the woods. And my cousin and I, we were like paralyzed with fear, And so about 20, 30 minutes later, as the sun came up, our brothers, I think, were both kind of snoring at that time. We put our hands over their mouths and we tried to tell them, and they didn't believe us. My brother said that's a bear or something. I'm like, yeah, a bear doesn't have hands, right?
Right. That's
Finally get
awesome.
out and you look around, and then the tall grass, no footprints, but the tall grass was parted, and it had to be like 3 feet wide, the parting. And my brother just looked at it stunned, because none of us gone behind there. It just led to a thicket of woods that was too, thick, the brush to go through. Well, we noticed something had made the attempt to go through, or had, whatever. And my brother just started getting a nervous laugh in his voice, like, well, whatever it was kind of big, and yeah, if it was a bear, it would have been that big, that wide. But again, nothing, had a hand. So we ran down the hill, We told our parents and my aunt what had happened, and none of them believed us. Weeks later, I remember watching the news back home in my hometown of Pittsburgh. 6 o'clock news came on, and they had at the end of the newscast kind of a chuckle between the newscasters. And here we have a story near Indiana, Pennsylvania, of an elderly couple walking their dog in the woods, which was apparently chased off by some large ape-like animal. And police were called out because the dog was never seen again. And while the police were investigating, they sure enough found a footprint or two. So they called out a local anthropologist from local college. He comes out and he made a cast, and he held up the plaster cast on the TV broadcast, holds it up, and says, "This may be the possible print of a Bigfoot." And my mother was sitting next to me, and my father was too. I just remember my mother's jaw dropped, Eric, and my father, then he looked at me and said, "You boys are never to go camping in those woods again." So, that got me into the field at least a little bit. And I really hadn't thought too much of it until, about 5 years ago, when my experience with the young boy, and then I got, back into checking BFRO things, and frankly, listening to one David Politis, who I met at a couple conventions, and listening to Coast and your broadcast now.
Thank you. Well, hey, we appreciate you, checking us out and tuning in. That's always appreciated.
I'll be sure to buy some coffee and a T-shirt next time I'm down.
Nice. Well, hey, we'll have to extend that discount for you since you participated with us tonight. But no, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
Greg and I have had a number of conversations, of course, when he comes into town and pays me a visit. So always something interesting to talk about. I wanted to put out there, because I know, Nathan, you had invited Angelina if she wanted to come on and promote her podcast. She's welcome to send you a link. I don't have her information, so I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
But hey, Greg, that's some fun stuff, man, and scary too. Brian's like, wow, how scary.
Or if I go on some expeditions, we'll see.
Well, hey, that's always a fun way to get involved. You've kind of dipped your feet into the water at this point, but that might be the next logical step,
Sure.
Well, you were saying about it could have been a bear, but they don't have hands.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever heard of anybody explaining to me that a bear, it looked like a human hand. Guy I work with had his dad owned a cabin up right near New York, all the way up top of Pennsylvania, right near New York. And I'd gone up with him, and he took me over to this stream because he knew I like to look for Bigfoot and stuff. So we went over to this stream, and he says, right here, it was right near the road, right just off the road. He said it looked like a dead human person laying there in the stream with their arm up like this. He said it looked like a hand. He said it was fat. It had fingers. He said it looked like a hand. It was white, and it looked like a hand. And then they went over like normal red-blooded Americans and poked it with a stick. And because it was in the water, I guess all the hair, and it was dead for quite a while, all the hair came off the hand, and it was just skin.
Oh.
And he said it freaked him out so bad. It looked like a human hand coming up out of the water. It wasn't until they went over and looked down into the water a little bit more to see that there was a whole bear there. But yeah, it still doesn't look like a human hand with fur,
Yeah. This thing looked very much like the hand of a gorilla.
Yeah.
I've heard that about bears, that the hands, when they decompose, sometimes can look like a human. I read that once, but I got a good friend of mine. He's a physician. I'm in the medical field per se, and he and I were talking one time, and up in Stillwater, I think. About 10 years ago, he was looking to buy some property, and like the name implies, still water. He was down by the water edge where the property edge ended, and in some bushes, he said he heard a grunt and a snort, and then he heard a growl, a very low growl, and he was thinking, could that be a bear? And he said something with large lung capacity, and as a doctor he would know that. And then the next thing he said he heard rock clanging, and, of course, can be a telltale sign. And I could see he was genuinely confused. He said, I just assumed it was a bear. And I said, Doc, bears don't have hands. They don't pick up rocks. They don't throw them at you or clang them around, And I said, you might have happened to see a Sasquatch. And later I looked on BFRO, and certainly they've had some encounters up there as well. So,
yeah,
for sure.
That's a good area. I've been there many times.
And so, Greg, you actually had the hand, like resembling a gorilla, come into your tent, right?
It was about probably 2 feet above my head. I'm laying flat on the tent. The tent was big enough you could kind of, I guess, stand up, and if you're a kid, you could, So it was 2 to 3 feet above, and it was just reaching for anything it could get.
So it actually literally came through the flap of the tent, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to my encounter where it was pressing in on the fabric over my head, and you could see the fingers pressing, but I didn't see any furry arm. That would have really freaked me out.
First I thought it was a dream, you know what I mean? But upon further, assessment, and then when I heard my cousin gasp, I knew I wasn't the only one looking at it, But Eric, last thing I'll say, I got a good friend of mine about 10 years ago. He told me a tale that happened at least 10 years before that up in the Adirondacks. He and a girlfriend, and my friend, by the way, was a big reporter. I won't mention his name, but for the AP, he covered a lot of big stories.
Mhm.
And he was a big guy too. He was about 6'5". Used to be a college wrestler in his day. And he said he's interviewed a lot of people, including Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. And he said, and Jack. And he said, I've been around some big people. I'm not too small of a guy myself. And he said he and his girlfriend were up in the Adirondacks one time. This has to be at least 20 years ago now. And he said he was not a camper, but she was. He was a city boy out of New York. She dragged him out there one weekend. And he said that they set up the tent and everything. And I guess, he liked to eat a lot of fruit. I've known him a long time. And so he would have netted fruit. Apparently, he said when he'd go out canoeing or anything else with her. But this time they were tenting. And to keep the bag of fruit off of away from the insects, he had it hanging. And he said, the way to get it out of the hanging situation was you'd have to slide it across a little metal bar that he had. And he said in the middle of the night, his girlfriend, where they had a fire going, his girlfriend puts her hand over his mouth, waking him, and points through, the side of the tent where the silhouette, he said, just a very large humanoid type, individual was standing there. And he said it was bigger than anything. He said, I've stood in front of, that tent and others. And he said, it was bigger than something Shaq or Andre the Giant would have even. He said, this thing was just huge. And he and his girlfriend, just paralyzed in fear. And he said it only stood there for about a minute or so. And they could hear it walking around on 2 feet. And it just kind of left. And neither one, was brave enough to peek their head out the tent. And in the morning, as soon as the sun came up, she's like, we're out of here. And she was throwing everything as fast as she could into the car. And she was yelling at him because, the food that he had, the netted food that he had hanging on the bar, he couldn't find it. And he said, if this was a raccoon or a bear or any other animal, they would have taken the thing, they probably would have torn open, the bag. And you would have seen some kind of debris somewhere, or some kind of fruit on the ground or something. He said, no, something with a hand. You had to have the dexterity of a hand, had to grab it and pull it off and just walk away. And he looked all in the woods and she was screaming, get out, come on, James, let's go. And he finally did. And he said, as an avid outdoors person, she never went into the woods from that point on.
Wow.
And I know
How
we burned
often
up in the Adirondacks before,
Yeah. How often have we heard people share, events and encounters like that where they just freaks them out so bad they never go back? And it's a shame, actually. It really is a shame that the fear can drive somebody out from never going back and enjoying nature.
Yeah, I don't think the intent. There's no intent of fear there. I don't believe.
No. And I had this conversation with somebody earlier. They're not out to harm us. I think they've learned, living side by side with early humans and now modern day, that, we're not going to just sit idly by if they harm one of us. We're going to come back with our fire sticks and come after them. So I think they've learned that doesn't behoove them.
Fire
Yeah,
sticks.
my biggest fear, I think I've told you guys, is the deer tick. The biggest fear I have is the smallest thing, and then maybe a bear, if I'm out in Missouri with a friend of mine, maybe a mountain lion kind of thing, or even a person. Of course, people can be as dangerous as anything.
I'm more afraid of them than anything. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's funny. That's funny you mentioned that though, Greg, about Missouri. Okay.
Mhm.
Because when I did some squatching out in Missouri, I got back to my buddy's double wide, and I had thousands of ticks in my, region, my nether region. Okay. It freaked me the hell out. And
Well, again, I do this mainly in the winter. I may be going out soon, so when I'm out in Missouri, I'm out in the colder weather, preferably, the first frost has come.
I never saw so many ticks in one place, okay, at one time. And
Yeah, that sucks.
that was traumatic. Hey,
That's
Greg, I
scary.
really appreciate you jumping on with us, brother, and telling your stories.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
And
man.
Merry Squatchmas to you too.
Merry Squatchmas. Yes. I think when I talk, it oversteps on your
Love
mic,
that.
so yeah. That's why I was going to say in the beginning, having earbuds or something can be helpful, but not necessary. I admitted to say anything like that. But again, that's why I'm kind of laying low with not talking over you. But it was really great to hear you talk. I'm sure our viewers enjoyed it as well. So I look forward to seeing you again in the new year, and be safe
You
out
bet
in
you, bud.
Missouri. All right. And thanks for squatching.
Have a great holiday, guys.
You too.
Thank
Thank you.
you. That was awesome. Uh-oh. Nathan? I think I got rid of Nathan. Sorry, Nathan. Hey, Nathan, come back. Well, that's one way to end the live stream. Come on, Nathan. Come on back. I don't know what I did. Sorry, folks. Come on, Nate. Hey, Angelina, if you're interested in plugging your, you can also just put a link on the chat if you'd like to do it that way. You don't have to feel obligated. I'm hoping Nathan will not take offense to me cutting him out. What the heck? Sorry, Nathan. I'll try to resend the invite. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What did I do? Come back. I told you I was technologically challenged. I wasn't kidding. Hey, everybody. Well, if anyone else has any questions, Nathan and I will be happy to answer them. I can't find Nathan. All right, let's just send him a new invite. Whoops. Wrong one. Ah, boy. I'm sorry. I don't know what the heck I did, but Nathan, if you can hear me, I know there's an 11-second delay, so hopefully you're back on. Where are you, brother? I'm never going to hear the end of this one. I'm looking at the wrong screen, so that's why I'm waving. I wanted to see which one was actually active. Nathan, where'd you go? Come back. Uh-oh. Come on. Wow, we've had some great stories. Where did I go? He says. Come on. I'm here. I'm right here waiting for you, brother. Hey, there he is. All right. I don't know what the heck I did. Usually it's the internet. I don't know what the heck I did.
I was like, see you, Greg. And then all of a sudden my screen went away. I'm like, oh, I'm done too.
I'm sorry. I don't.
That's all right. Hold on, I got to turn the TV down. I was listening to you talk while I was trying to get back on.
Is it hot in here?
Like, oh, here,
I'm a Dumas.
Let's show everybody how we screw this up.
Yeah, hey, that wasn't hard.
Whatever.
Sorry, brother. Hey, now you know how Brian felt on Dixie's channel, right?
Yeah,
And
he just
he couldn't get back in.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I saw that come up on my feed the other day.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's got over 22,000 views. You know.
Really? That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's not bad, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not because of us, though.
No, but it does.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, how come ours don't have 22,000 views? You know, like, what are we doing wrong? He's back, indeed. Welcome back. And meanwhile, I'm like going back and forth. I didn't know which screen to look at. You know, I'm like, where the hell is he?
It is really confusing. This is tough to do.
Well, try to be on the production end.
Yeah, I know. It's
I'm still waiting for Ty to get back to come to, you know. I said to Tyrell from Yeti Brothers, he's one of the Yetis, that we'd probably be wrapping it up because Nathan's got to go to bed soon, you know. Just kidding.
Friday,
Friday. It's Saturday. Actually.
Saturday.
I got to get up early.
Yeah.
But he was out remotely, so you know, New Mexico, they probably don't have as many cell towers. So,
well, they don't need them as much. It's kind of flat, isn't it? Don't it? Well, the aliens probably interrupt the.
I know. I have no idea what part of, you know. I didn't look at the elevation, but
yeah.
He said he was willing to come on. Actually, while you were in limbo there, I asked Angelina if she wanted to post her thing on her chat or if she wanted to come in. She's welcome to do so.
Yeah.
Clicking. I don't know if she's still on or not, but
I don't know. I asked her. I told her I want to do another one. We're going to start talking about God and stuff, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the live stream on YouTube. I'm like, wait a minute, your lips aren't moving.
It is.
Hey, how about Greg though? He's got some interesting stories.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can talk to him again. That's for sure.
No doubt.
I hope he comes along out. You got it the right way now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the in present time view, so that makes it better. Woo, that is scary.
That's why when we were on Dixie Cryptid, I was just like real close watching everybody's mouth. Like, I don't know who's talking. Is it him or is it 10 minutes ago? 10 seconds ago, I mean.
Yeah, you were like this.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that was fun.
Yeah.
And that was about a year ago, you know? So I don't know. It's like we're coming up on an anniversary. It's like, you know, like a big event. So what are we going to do? Actually, I was thinking about this while I was listening to Greg share his last story that, you know, with next week being Christmas Eve, right? And then the following Saturday being New Year's Eve, I'm going to probably say this is going to wrap up our season for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not planning on disturbing anybody's festivities, you know? And maybe you and I might do a short or something over this next couple of weeks. But I'm thinking maybe we need a 2-week vacation. What do you think, Nathan?
That would work. Yeah.
Would that be suitable?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think anybody will mind.
Nah, it's, you know, of course, when you're trying to grow a channel, it's never a good thing to take a sabbatical or a break, but I think we've earned it.
Well, that, and it gives us a little more time to try to get out, because I'm really hoping that the 20th goes swimmingly well, and that I can see again, that I'm willing to drive, because I'm telling you, that driving is terrible. I hate going to work in the morning for a lot of reasons, but mostly
Right.
because it's dark.
Yeah, especially when it's dark. Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah,
That's
because I think my left eye is getting worse already now too. I
Well,
really
let's
think
hope
it had something to do with the anesthesia from the back surgery. I really think it was, but hey, I'm not a doctor.
I just checked the chat, and Angelina doesn't have a Zoom app, but I don't know that matters. I mean,
Nah, if you just click
usually
on the link in the
if you
email,
click on the link in the email, it takes you right in. So
Yep.
it's not an issue. If you want to come on real quick, I see you're still here.
yeah,
Oh, she's at 50%. So I'm sorry. I didn't read all the previous ones. Oh man, but hey, I'm just getting over the screw up I just did with kicking Nathan off the chat. How rude of me. I suck. But yeah, I haven't heard back from Yeti Tyrell. So anybody else have any questions or wants to come on and give it a shot with us? I promise not to kick you off.
I think we might have a question coming in. I don't know if she's coming on live with us. Or if she just wants to.
Yeah. Yes, it works on your phone.
Hold on. Email to Squatch Talks podcast. I guess I could just say it. It'd only take me 11-second delay.
Right.
Instead of trying to type it to you on the text message.
And plus, we had it on all our promos.
Yeah.
Email. The only issue I have, can you copy the Zoom link on your end that I sent you and send it to her for me? Can you just do that for me? That would be so much easier.
How the hell am I going to do that?
From your Gmail. You have her obviously in your email. Right?
This is a different person.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That doesn't matter, but I don't know how to get to hold on. I got to get to my email. You make this so difficult for me because I'm technologically ignorant. But it's the only way I'm going to learn.
The way I did it with Tyrell, because he's on his phone, was I went to the email I sent Patty and I copied the text and then added it copied the text of the email, the body of it, and then I pasted it into Tyrell's text message. Okay.
Copy. Hold on. I'm copied. Now I'm going to switch to. I don't even know what I'm going to switch to. I want to go to compose. See, I'm just not good at this. And she's waiting for me. If you just email squatchtalkspodcast@gmail.com, then Eric can send you a Zoom link. Or you can just text the question.
Yeah.
And that'll work too. And I'll read it. But if you want to ask the question to us specifically, I can't switch back. This is terrible.
I had you on speaker as that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Up close and personal.
Up close and personal. There's the stupid. The big picture. There it went.
There it went. This is funny.
This is why watching me try to do this.
No, this is just funny. Like, this is actually working. And I remember like a year ago doing this with Dixie and being like, wow, this is cool. You know, he used a different, zooming software. I looked into a couple.
I don't have Sheldon's email, so I cannot send it.
That's okay
to her.
It's cool.
She has to email in. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I just was saying how like a year ago we had no clue what we were doing. No. This was, your background was like your couch with the curtains on it. You know what I mean? Like we've come a long way, baby.
Hold on. Email. I guess she's not actually watching. Bear with me, people. Some dead air here.
Hang on. I'm going to check the comments while you're doing that. Okay.
Squatch Talks podcast at Gmail.
She's
There we go. Okay.
All right. And Angelina, as soon as she's done eating, has said she's going to email us as well. Okay. And who knows? If possible. I texted Tyrell. I said, not sure if you have bars. Signal, get it? Bars. Getty bars. Hey. All right, I'm looking at the wrong screen again. So that's making me confused. Let me get back over here. So how are we coming through, folks? Do we sound okay, though? Can you hear us all right? Let us know in the comments if the audio sounds clear or not.
I just wish we had another story. I wish we had another. When he was talking about, when Greg was talking about the fruit on the pole, I remember Kevin, him and Jeff Shepard were, it was my first expedition, and they were camped together up on the top of the hill. And, you know, we got the hooks for your trash, hang your trash up there in Pennsylvania. You can be responsible. His trash, which he took the bag and tied the handle shut and then hung it on the hook, was laid down on the floor, on the ground in the morning. It was untied and laid open. And there was food picked out of it and laid nice around, and you know, stuff was missing and things were scavenged around. But squirrels, raccoons don't normally untie the handles of the bag and lay them down nicely. As I found out in New York, they just take their claw and rip a hole in the side of the tent, crawl in, and then just shred everything.
I was there. I remember that.
Terry was not amused. Neither was Joe, by the way.
Yeah, that was not the greatest expedition, I will say.
It was one of the wetter ones I was ever on.
And I was in a small tent, which I didn't care for, and I blew up my truck on the way home. So
yeah,
overall,
right.
It sucked.
Yeah, that was that green Ford you killed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was its last expedition.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of trucks, my blue one is in the driveway, and I don't know what I blew this time, but hey, it's in need of some repairs. So I'm going to check it out hopefully next day or two and see what went wrong. But it sounds like it's got like a straight pipe, a down pipe, and a Hemi engine. Somebody asked me today, did somebody steal your catalytic converter? I said, I don't think so, but you mentioned that it could be just one of those, you know, gaskets,
collector gasket on the end of the header pipe,
which is what it sounds like. Yeah, it's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, they fall out a lot. Not a lot, but I mean, you got enough miles on that thing.
True, and I'm not ready to give it up though. I love that truck, you know.
Oh yeah, I don't think you have to. It's just after you know, it's a fibrous type gasket, so it's just gonna rot away, you know.
And it's funny because when we went out, Art and I, last Monday, he was looking it over as I went back in to get the last piece of gear, and he's looking at both sides. He goes, when I got in the truck, he's like, damn, you really beat the crap out of this since I've seen you. I'm like, well, you know, I got it to go out in the woods, you know.
Yeah, there were a lot of scratches on that red one when it got taken away. I used to, I was so finicky with that truck when I first got it. We wasn't even allowed to eat in it. Yeah, we wouldn't, no eating, no drinking. And then I'm driving it through the Pine Barrens on a horse trail that's not even as wide as I'd scrape my shoulders walking down the stupid trail. And there we go.
You earned your piney pinstripes, as we call it.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right. She texted me back. Her question is, research about Todd Standing. Is any part of his work that you think is credible? She's been doing a lot of research on him. I am under the impression that at the beginning he was quite the respectable and credible researcher who got extremely frustrated and broke. You're talking
about the Sylvania days, right? When he first came out with some the Squatch up on the hillside that stood up and you could see its big rear end, okay, before it ducks down again. In that video, I didn't know what to think at first. I remember when it first came out years ago and thinking it could be real, okay? But like you said, unfortunately, I think sometimes for whatever reason, people then may get, kind of skewed in the wrong direction. And I don't know what happened, but from what I can see, there's been a lot of, I don't want to say necessarily hoaxing, but I think misleading would be a good way of putting it. I don't like to talk badly about anybody, but honestly, I would not want to associate with Todd Standing when it comes to doing research. I hate to say that. I mean, I know any association with Todd would of course get us a lot of clicks, it
probably.
May, but
that's not what it's about.
It's not what it's about, and I don't want to be associated with people who have a reputation of hoaxing. I remember he came on the Finding Bigfoot episode and they kind of did their due diligence in kind of debunking some of the stuff he had claimed to be real, right? So, I mean, him and who's the other guy? Tom, Georgia, Tom Skerritt, not Skerritt. The Georgia Bigfoot hoax. That was another one I really found distasteful. The Georgia Bigfoot, remember? They had that thing in the cooler.
Oh, yeah. The cooler.
And that guy, Justin, right? Justin, I didn't take my Prevagen today, folks. Sorry. But again, these are not names that I tend to give. Justin Scales, or I don't know. I forget his name. Again, those are things.
Patty said his Bigfoot pictures look like Ewoks.
Ewoks, yeah. Actually,
they did look like Ewoks.
If we're talking about Todd Standing,
yeah.
It's like a Wookiee, like a right.
It really did look like one of them
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Star
their face
Wars
was
Chewbacca.
real little and it was smiling and it did look funny. It did.
And there's it starts with an M. What was her name? They gave it a name. But again, I really didn't pay much attention to it because when I hear Todd's name attached, I kind of steer away. Okay. Now, you would think Les Stroud, right? Yeah. Les is a good guy, would probably do his research before associating, right, with somebody who
was questionable.
Yes, Dyer. Thank you. That was his name. Yes.
Dwyer. Yep.
Dyer.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but Les Stroud connected with Todd and Dr. Jeff Meldrum, right, in his Bigfoot series, Bigfoot Survivor, and I found that to be a little questionable. Like, why would Les associate with this guy, right? And it's funny because I remember Les talking about he was putting out into the universe about doing a Bigfoot series, and I emailed him. I said, hey, if you're serious, I got a spot in British Columbia. I'll take you. I guarantee results. Never heard back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I kid you not, the spot I know, we had results every day. So. So, in answer to the question, it's I try not to give it much thought or attention, to be perfectly honest. Not that I'm anybody, but it's just we don't want any negatives, right, associated with us.
Well, yeah, but I really don't know the true story behind it or what happened, or I don't know if he ever admitted or came clean or justified anything.
Yeah, that's true. Like Greg just mentioned, nobody ever came up with another pick like the Ewok, Rick Dyer. Yep, that's who it was. And there was another guy too associated with. And then there's the other one, Justin, who shot the one, Jason or Justin. I forget. Smeha, right? That was another hoaxer. And again,
he was on that $1 million Bigfoot hunt too,
and won.
Yeah.
and he won it, right?
Well, I don't know. I watched the first episode and I thought this is stupid and turned it off.
I know. Well, it's kind of like Mountain Monsters, you know.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? But look at them. They get those shows, and they become famous.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what you and I need to do. We need to get our shotguns and get out there and go look for Bigfoot.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I said, son.
Patty won't go with us anymore then.
We lose all credibility with Patty. And she'd arrest us. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope that answers her question, though.
Probably.
Thanks for the question.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nathan, I haven't heard back yet from our friends at the Yeti Brothers. So,
yeah,
I'm going to start just by mentioning that, you know, we have been talking about a new Squatch Talks podcast bar available soon.
Mm-hmm.
Taddy said, yes, she will. I have confirmation from a reliable source. And as of the new year, we were hoping it would be right in the works and happen before Christmas. These guys are swamped. It's just two brothers making handmade soap out there with great ingredients out in New Mexico. So, you know, they get hit hard with a lot of biz over the holiday season. So I hope we had something to do with that, Nathan. But they are in the process of putting together our Squatch Talks podcast bar, and we have specific scents going into it. So after the new year, it's going into production, and we should have it relatively soon. So I was hoping to allow Tyrell the opportunity to talk about that himself. I don't know how much longer you want to go, Nathan, but we're on an hour and a half. So, I mean.
Well, somebody is
Angelina email.
There it is. I was just about to say that.
We're going to have to give her an opportunity.
Sure.
Okay. I think.
I hope so.
Let me refresh my memory. I don't see it. Who did you email?
I didn't email anybody.
No, I know. I'm asking Angelina.
Oh, yeah. Who did you email?
Squatch Talks Podcast at gmail.com.
He never did admit that he hoaxed. Well, see, I don't know. Yeah. And I like how you said too that nobody else ever came up with an Ewok face. I have never seen another picture that looks like his Ewok face, to be honest.
So what does that mean?
All that means is I've never seen another one that looked like that.
But again, you not knowing much about the situation, he has a daughter who actually does costumes. You know what I mean?
Really?
So his daughter probably designed this thing. What was it, Mabel or something? What's the creature's name? They gave it a name. Matt even posted a picture of it on her BFRO page once. It was an image of her through the tent screen. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the I'm like, where the hell do I click next? I don't see it. I don't see an email.
No, she forgot to put podcast afterwards. And she just sent it to Squatch Talks.
There you go.
Squatch Talks podcast, all one word.
That explains it.
At gmail.com.
So again, you know, there's too much leaning the other way, that what he's doing now isn't legit, you know? And when I saw that episode with him and Dr. Meldrum, he actually kind of was leading Jeff into saying certain things on that episode to kind of verify what Todd was saying. So that's all I'm going to talk about, Todd. It's the first time I think we've mentioned Todd Standing in the whole year. So that's pretty good. We've done all right. I got it, Angelina.
There it is.
So I'm going to send you the link. Make sure you mute the YouTube feed when I admit you. Otherwise, you're going to be totally confused. And welcome to Squatch Talks Podcast. I sent her the invite, so we'll have her on in a moment. And I think if we don't hear from Tyrell, wrap it up after Angelina. How's
Yeah.
that sound? Sure. Thanks everybody for sticking with us. This has been awesome. It went smoother than I hoped, except for when I kicked Nathan out of the conversation. I don't know. I don't know what the
I
hell
took
did there.
advantage of the situation. So
Thank you. I'll kick myself out just to be fair. How's that?
No, don't do that.
I'll make you do the
I'll
whole
be
thing.
all alone. Oh, Greg said something else.
I can't see. I'm not on that screen anymore.
Steve from How to Hunt is supposed to have a trail cam pick.
I knew somebody was going to bring up that one. I don't even.
How to Hunt. Who is that?
You know who that is? Steve Isdahl, the one that we were talking
Warned
about with
about.
Dixie. Yeah, Dixie.
Was it?
We don't.
Cam? Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt. That's the one who has a hard on for Matt Moneymaker. Supposed, yes. Allegedly.
Alleged.
You know what? I've watched a few of his things. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Again, I speak badly about nobody. We love everybody here on Squatch Talks.
We promote everybody. So we
promote
must.
everybody. I'm sorry. I'm probably missing the invite. No. So yeah, you should be able just to click on. Again, this is 11 seconds later. You're going to hear it, but you should be able to click on the link, Angelina, and it should automatically load. But getting back to Greg, I haven't seen that episode. If you want to send me that information, I'll gladly check it out for you. But I have found, this is all I'll say, that he has built up a huge following on his channel, but his followers can be a bit on the rude side if you say anything derogatory or against, Steve. So that will not happen here. Oh, absolutely, Mike. Mike asked, are there people that hunt Bigfoot? Yeah, there's a Georgia Bigfoot Research Organization, the Gibrafa. I forget what they call themselves, but I think that's the group, right?
I think so.
They go out just like mountain monsters with their guns, and they are looking for bagging a Bigfoot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The BFRO and NASBRO we're a no-kill society. I don't know. I'm not even a hunter, so.
No, I've been a pacifist far too long to shoot a Bigfoot.
Hey, Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal's been
sign up.
come. There are more technical difficulties happening. Oh,
What did I do now, Crystal?
oh no, I believe that's her and Ange are having technical difficulties.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I did send the link. But I'm glad Crystal was able to let us know at least. So if we're not able to do it tonight, we'll do it another time. Maybe we'll have you on as a special guest.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. But hey, meanwhile, how about this year, huh?
How about it?
How about it?
It
A
was
year ago.
It was a year. It's been an entire year.
A year ago, we were just talking about this, right? We were just kind of getting started. And I remember sitting on my couch in the back, recording our first thing with a curtain behind me, a wolf blanket behind me,
Those first couple podcasts suck so bad.
You say that. I know you say that, and we both said it. But
Yeah.
Heather and I watched the first one the other night. And I have to say, as far as first episodes of new channels go, it's not that bad.
No.
Nope. After reviewing it, I have to say, I'm still proud of the effort we put into it. We might have not been as polished, or the mics weren't right. We didn't have the mics on the first episode, okay, or the HD or any of that. But hey, I have nothing but good things to say about our efforts that we've done.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I want to
That's
thank
for
you
sure.
for hanging out with us,
It's given me something to do while I couldn't go out and hike and actually research. So that's been helpful.
Yeah.
It's kept me engaged while I, am stuck, not being able to, that's how we were talking about it at work the other day. And they said, yeah, you really shouldn't go walking around in the woods. You got one eye you can't see. You'll probably walk into a stick and poke you in the good eye. I was like, I know,
Yeah,
then
right?
I'd really be screwed then.
Totally.
Uh-oh, there's more people.
Uh-oh.
There's people talking. North American wood ape
That's
says they
still
want
gray.
a body. They still want a body. Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know they
about
were I didn't know they were killing them.
Nawa. Yeah, they want a body too. There's a number of groups that do. And again,
Well, now tell me this.
Yeah.
They just released all this UFO stuff, all the undisclosed, and now they're supposedly releasing all this crap. It started in 2016, I think, or something like that. Right. They started declassifying all the and admitting all the UFO whatnots.
Mm-hmm.
When are they going to start doing that with Bigfoot? Why don't they just release all the crap they know about that then?
Well, the government's not going to do that. I had this conversation with somebody earlier too, because there's just,
well, they did it with the UFO.
You know why though? And I said this to her as well. I said the same thing to her. They released those couple of Navy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thermal images of these, what they called unidentified aerial phenomena, right?
The Tic Tacs, yeah.
Yeah, the Tic Tacs. The reason they did that is because they wanted to distract us from what's not being done that's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? They're keeping us just
fear.
Enough. Well, not in fear necessarily, just distracted. You know what I mean? Hopeful, wishing that they're going to tell us more, you know? I don't know. That's just my opinion, of course. But I think that really that's what happens. And the government knows more than we give them, credit for.
They don't give up.
Remember?
Yeah, I know.
I mentioned that the guy walking through the Pentagon saw a door that said Bigfoot research on the door, right? Or Bigfoot department or something.
Preach,
yeah. I'm telling you. No, I'm literally, I had this conversation with a new person, first time in. Like here I am blowing my credibility as a business person, right? Talking about this stuff. But hey, she was right on board with it, said the same thing, you know, and hey, that's okay. Like I told her, I don't shove my opinion down anybody's throat, you know.
No, as long as you listen to us, we won't shove our opinion down.
We're gonna get together with you and Crystal another time because we're gonna make a whole different episode about that. All right. We appreciate you though. And thanks for tuning in tonight. And everybody else who's we've had a number of our viewers hanging out this whole time with us. So I can't ask for anything more than that. That's awesome. So
I think we need to talk about the comment Brian made. Are you looking at the live feed comments?
I am. Yes. The last comment? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, that's why, again, you got to be real careful about what you say. I told you if that's the comment you're referring to from Brian, right? Nathan? Chris. Well, now this is live. You can see what I have to sometimes put up with while we're recording. But no, I feel bad for you, Bri. That was never a good thing. And yes, maybe Nathan will click back on. So I'm not going anywhere until Nathan clicks back on. Technology, folks. It's wonderful. Yes, we know. If you watch the bloopers from Wednesday night's episode, which I aired last night. Yeah. Hello again. Welcome back. Oh, shoot. This happens. No more. It's going to be working. Come on. I have faith in you, Nathan. One of the things we had discussed was moving the router upstairs, getting it out of the basement. So I don't know if you did that with the Ethernet cable that we talked about. Well, hey, again, I leave this live chat up, so let's not go, too deep into any conversation about that individual. I will suffice to say, I've heard it from good sources, and I mentioned earlier that there can be some, derogatory things said. You know what I mean? Crystal, thank you. Uncle Eric says thank you. And We'll see you soon. And Nathan, get your butt back on here. Just use your phone if you need to. It's okay. We just need to do a close, and I can't do it solo. If you're listening on YouTube, but 10 seconds later, you'll get this. Hey, folks, remember, Yeti Bars is having a sale. If you get your order in by tomorrow, it'll still ship in time for you Yetis to get it by Christmas. Just remember to use code STP10 at checkout. And I think it's still $70 is the minimum shipping or the free shipping number. Okay. No, Angelina, not tonight. This is festivities. We're holiday. We're happy. Merry Squatchmas. Anyway, so you Yetis, get your orders in and use STP10. That'll help us out. Remember to click on the share. Thank you. Share and subscribe. You like that one? Sasquib. I know I'm an idiot. Can I say, Nathan, where are you? Come on, you're leaving me out to dry here. Love you guys. Thank you, Heather. You have no choice, though. You should be down here sitting next to me, helping me out right now. All right. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was the first for us. Figured we'd make it happen. Let me see. Come on. Here we go. This was a first. Okay. We've done a couple of live feeds. Thank you, Nathan. That's my man. My brother.
Hello.
Hey, look at you. You're gorgeous. I just did the Yeti bar thing, so we're good there. We got them, and I told everybody to subscribe.
Yeah, I heard.
I know.
You're going to have to stop telling people to do that.
That's a new one I just came up with today.
I know. Sometimes things aren't coming up with. I don't know what to tell you.
Thank you, Phil. Thank everybody else. Greg, thanks for coming on and sharing your stories with us. And Patty, awesome. I haven't heard back from Tyrell, so I guess we'll have him on in a future episode to let everybody know about our new Squatch Talks podcast bar and the new coffee that we'll be talking about. All right.
I'm still freezing even on the
I thought you were frozen.
It's still, I even had the Wi-Fi turned off, I thought.
Awesome. Well, Hey, Nathan, it was fun, and we had a great time tonight.
Sure. I had a good time. I hope everybody else did, and hope we can have some more conversations.
We should just do this from now on. Go live every week. What do you think?
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it.
You know what I mean? If we can get people to share with at least one or two friends, get a few more people on, we'll get more stories. And hey, we can have emails sent to us where?
Squatch Talks Podcast, gmail.com. And you can always go to nasbro.net.
That's right. And submit your report. We have a report submission page there. Yep. But yeah, that would be great. And then we can actually, like I said, do these kind of live streams and have people come on and talk about their encounters. We're happy to do that. Or I can take the Steve Isdal route and just do shorts, right? You and I can just take reports that come in and do a short and put it up there. We'll just read their experience. So anyway, there's lots of things on the horizon, people.
That's right.
Stay tuned.
Thanks for squatching.
All right, my friend. I ended the feed.
Nice.